I wish that we could see a better picture there of just how many people were in attendance on those two levels. I mean,
Yeah.
I just don't understand what that must feel like as, this supposed hailed leader that just thinks that he's so popular and loved to be met everywhere you go with a convoy, really, for to put it
Yep.
nicely and contextually, of people heckling and protesting your very presence and running of the country.
Yeah, I've been around politics for a long time, just as an observer, and particularly conservative politics. And even in Stephen Harper's last days, and people insanely hated him for some reason. Like the reasons they gave didn't make any sense in my mind. Like they were still talking about his hidden agenda after like 10 years, and I'm like, it's pretty hidden, I've never seen it. But it was never like this, it was never this bad. And there are people who really really still really love Justin Trudeau, but I think there are people who are becoming radicalized on both sides. So people who are radicalized to love him no matter what ethics violations, no matter how much money he spends, no matter how he drives up inflation, no matter how he landlocks our resources, no matter how he stomps over human rights. There are people who are going to love him. That none of it matters. But on the other side, there are people who are they just viscerally hate him. And frankly, I think they've got some pretty good reasons for it.
It's really the true believers on both sides there, and one extreme to the next. And I think it's funny that you point out that people had really silly or stupid reasons for hating Harper, but I see the difference here is that people
Oh,
have really
yeah.
stupid and silly reasons for loving or liking
Yes.
Justin Trudeau. Right? It's like,
Sure.
oh, he
Yeah.
has great socks and he's always looking so stylish, and I love his hair. And he literally was voted in, to the best of my knowledge, based on those those aesthetic things, never on his merit or his intellect or policies other than legalizing marijuana. It was the fact that he had great hair and cool socks. And I mean, that just shows you the state of intellect here in Canada. But he didn't even get a majority in the last election. So that's why you're seeing now these protesters and hecklers at every stop that he makes. And I never remember seeing a leader going to places with such an entourage of security and personnel, and like 10 vehicles deep rolling in, all of them with black tinted out SUVs. I mean, maybe a couple, but having this rolling entourage of staff, I don't remember seeing that anytime prior. Maybe I wasn't paying attention, but that seems a little bit excessive in my opinion. And of course, just the need for that kind of security when you're apparently this beloved upholder of democracy.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't mean to compare how the left hated Stephen Harper for the stupidest of reasons versus the very good reasons people have for disliking Justin Trudeau. I don't mean to compare them, but I just see as you rightly point out, the media would have you believe that Justin Trudeau is beloved. I think he thinks he's beloved. But when you look outside those two things, the reality is much different. People are in their respective corners on this. Either they really love him or they really hate Trudeau. And I think the country is really polarized on it. And that polarization, I think, is driven by Justin Trudeau himself, because he's made all these personal decisions all of a sudden a moral issue. Like if you don't get the vaccine, you're a bad person. You don't care about your neighbor. You don't care about protecting them. So the people who believe that, they want to stay away from those really bad people over there. And those really bad people over there are resentful of people they used to know, thinking, well, you just made my medical choice some sort of moral judgment on my character. It's He has driven the polarization we are seeing here. And yeah, that enormous entourage, Mr. Carbon Footprint, everybody likes
Yeah.
me, with his like roll up of SUVs. Give me a break.
Yeah, they're not hybrid vehicles. Those are straight up gas guzzling SUVs. And like I said, 10 deep rolling with him. Probably two people, a driver and Justin Trudeau, and then a driver and some media staff, and a driver and one security detail and one vehicle and another and another. And I mean, I would be so curious to know who fills those vehicles, and if they're actually filled with staff, or they have a couple people, they need their leg room and they need to be sprawled out, travel in style and comfort,